पिछले 2 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਲਗਾਈਆਂ ਗਈਆਂ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੁਣ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਅੱਕ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਵੈਕਸੀਨਸ ਲਗਵਾ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਲੋਕ ਵੀ ਇਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਕਾਰਨ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨ ਨੇ। ਅਜੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਟੂਰਿਜ਼ਮ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੇਸ਼ਾਂ ਵਾਂਗ ਹੁਣ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਪਾਬੰਦੀਆਂ ਹਟਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਅਰਜ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਵੈਕਸੀਨ ਲੈ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦਾ PCR ਟੈਸਟ ਕੋਈ ਮਾਇਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਰੱਖਦਾ।
Canadians tell us they are eager to travel. And Canadian tourism businesses are ready to welcome the world back to Canada.
When you're looking at what's happening around us with community transmission, it's extremely unlikely that the travelers that come in potentially positive will have any sizable effect on transmission. Canada, as well as the rest of the globe, pretty much will transition step by step into endemicity, and travel restrictions and testing at the border is not going to prevent COVID from staying here in Canada.
We know tests can stay positive for up to 6 months for individuals. So when they're testing in their foreign location, they may test positive, but they may not be infectious to others. It may be from this COVID-19 in the last 2 months that they acquired. We find a lot of these cases. It's actually getting much worse now. It's causing clinical care to be disrupted. And so I can imagine at the level of travel where, the experience and the wherewithal to kind of resolve people and figure out if they're old or new is not as easy. It's going to lead to a lot of disruptions of travelers that, again, did the right thing and essentially could not get tested and have a molecular test documented before they return.
It turned out to be much more complex than we originally thought. And it really was about how do we determine who's a registrant of which college, and how do we determine vaccination rates? How do we make it practical and operational to be able to understand immunization status of registrants? So it really was technical operational issues behind the scenes. It was not the intent.
I understand the work that the public health officials are doing with Minister Dix and others to ensure that we're in sync with the public and the virus, not in sync with a handful of protesters.
A number of the orders are expiring next week, and we will continue to monitor those. What you will hear next week will be the details of how we're going to be moving forward. You will hear less about the pandemic as we get through this wave, and more about how we continue to manage our personal risks as restrictions are adjusted.
People are traveling their spring and summer vacations now. And agar unhe confidence nahi hai ki they can enter Canada, to wo apni trip kahin aur ke liye plan kar lenge. And even within domestic travel, agar logon ko confidence nahi hai ki BC mein restrictions lift hoengi, movement will be easy, or bade festivals ya events allow kiye jayenge, so people will plan it in other places where they will be allowed to do that. So even though we may not be the right time right now to lift those restrictions, I think what is very important is for the government to put those markers in place which can tell us when these restrictions will be lifted, so that people can plan their life accordingly.